Owen over here at Charisma News, and we are so pumped for the Left Behind movie coming out, The Rise of the Antichrist. And today I have a special guest, Sam Sorbo. She's going to share everything from what's going on into the movies, as well as just some of her conversations across the country on education, culture, politics, and religion, and what's happening here with the Left Behind movie and why you need to go and see it when it comes out in theaters. Welcome to Charisma News, Sam.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
So for everybody who's listening, tell us a little bit about yourself and some of the work you're doing.
So I'm an actress in the movie Left Behind. And by the way, I just want to say, we've really opened up with all the pandemic stuff. We've managed to open up kind of a new paradigm for movie going. So if you go to leftbehindmovie.com and you can click on order tickets, you can go to the website, find a theater near you, find a showing that you want to go see, order your tickets, and then you can take that link and you text it to all your friends and you say, I'm going to the movie at this time. Come on out and join me if you want. I've sold out 2 theaters this way. It's amazing. Wow. It's amazing. And I'm actually super excited to see all my friends at the movies. And then of course, let's see. So I'm going to be in LA for the first showing, which is the 26th. So I texted all my friends, we're going at night and we're going to have dinner beforehand with some of them, not all of them, because we managed to sell out a full theater. But here in Florida, I'll be back by the Sunday. And so the Sunday I'm going to the matinee and we're going to go out to dinner afterwards. So it's like it's just so cool. It becomes more of like a celebration than just, I'm going to go let Hollywood, feed me some culture now. This is different. This is people who are searching for something that feeds their soul. I think it's slightly different. So I'm excited for this new paradigm.
Yeah, me too. And we interviewed your husband, Kevin, yesterday, and we posted that interview online, and people are just blowing up. They are so excited to see the movie and really just anticipating. And I think the main thing is just how much it ties the culture from today into the movie, which I think is so incredible. So on that topic, you actually do a lot with the culture today, just in your personal life. And so I want you to share a little bit about that, and then we can tie into how that goes into the movie.
Yeah, so I advocate for home learning, which is something like homeschooling, but I beg to differ with the whole school sort of system. I think that the school system, and we can see it now more than ever, it's really a system of abuse. And we've all been injured by the schools to one degree or another. And for most of us, I think still, we are not aware of how injured we were. But if you think back to your school days, you were hurt at some point, and you carry that hurt with you because you were just a little kid when it happened. So the other part of that is because as Christians, we believe in a certain doctrine, and that is not the doctrine that they are using in our schools. I think I'm calling on Christians to be more considerate with their children, which, as we believe children are gifts from God. And so I call on Christians to keep their children home, to disciple them themselves, the parents, as God willed it. The Bible's pretty clear. He never said, go find a good school for your kid or whatever. Education ought to be more than just academic. They convinced us that it was only academic. They were wrong. Now they've changed their tune. They know that it's doctrine. They have the false doctrine, and we should get our kids out of school. So I train parents on what we really ought to be meaning with education, what that looks like for them, how easy it is, and how enjoyable it is to educate your child yourself instead of adhering to all of the things that the school puts out in front of you. The whole paradigm of school is horrible. That's why parents don't like to homeschool. They tried it during COVID. They're like, oh my gosh, this was awful, because they were schooling at home, and that's just not a good way to go. And so I train parents on how different the home learning ideals are, and how different it looks for a family, and how encouraging it is, how more preservational it is for the family, for the relationships in the family, for the children. for the future, really. So I'm
Mhm.
very excited about it. It's something that I've been working on. It's a project I've been working on for a long time. I have three grown, well, almost grown children, 21, 18, and 17. So they're almost fully grown and they're adults. And our school systems don't produce adults anymore. We've infantilized children to the point of, at 26, you're wearing pajamas and you're trying to stay on your parents' insurance and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, I could go on with all the issues that we have in our system. But suffice it to say, there are solutions. They are easier than you ever dreamed and more enjoyable than you ever imagined.
Wow. I just love how you talk about it. It's very encouraging, which I just don't think is a lot of the rhetoric that you hear today. So, before we continue, is that information on your website, samsorbo.com?
Yeah, it's at samsorbo.com, and all of my books and all the Sorbo films and everything is also over at sorbostudios.com. So you can go either place and find me and find our things. But yeah, samsorbo.com is more just me.
Perfect. Well, just as you were talking, I was thinking about it's so interesting with the tagline of the movie, it's a true story, it just hasn't happened yet. And when I was talking with your husband, he was saying how, he's like, the rapture hasn't happened yet, it's coming soon, kind of jokingly with everything that's happening in our world today. So, with that, tell us about the new movie and why it was important for you guys to capture, our world today in that.
Well, that was actually the choice of the writer producer, and I thought it was such an excellent choice. When he first said, "I'm going to rewrite the script," we were like, "Why? What's wrong with it?" But then, when he wove in the elements of sort of what's recently happened in our culture into the film, I think all of our jaws dropped. We were like, "Oh my gosh, this makes so much sense," and it just makes the movie that much more tangible. The Rapture, I think, sort of to the general public, just sounds so much like sci-fi,
Hmm.
that it's hard to take it seriously. It just is. I've been joking with people that the Rapture already happened, but nobody measured up. So, um, so yeah, the movie just it goes into that, and it touches on current day events, and it weaves them together so seamlessly that you feel like, well, it actually could happen. It is just right around the corner. And I
Hmm.
think that part of the good that's going to come out of that is that people are going to take maybe a better look at their Bibles, maybe
Yeah.
a little bit of a closer look. Maybe they'll start to walk a little bit closer to God. Maybe they'll go to church for the first time in years, or maybe they'll be more just purposeful about going to church. That's my hope, anyway. And for the people who just are so far away from believing, I'm hoping that we invite those people to go see the movie, because it's just a good, fun thriller type of movie, sort of a post-apocalyptic movie, which is kind of in the vein of what Hollywood produces these days anyway, except that this one has, solid morals and ethics, and it presents the gospel.
Mm.
So you'd be inviting somebody to experience that in just a movie setting. It's not, your typical cheesy. We've managed to get away from the typical old cheesy church movie stuff,
Mhm.
really well. Actually, I think that there have been a number of creators who have managed to do that, surprisingly well. And this is certainly in that vein. It's a really good Hollywood caliber movie that includes a little bit of gospel. Nothing wrong with that.
No, it's amazing. It's super important, really, just that quality that you're talking about, which I think will draw in the people who maybe don't already know a lot of the themes of the movie. Share a little bit about your role in the film and some of your favorite scenes.
Oh, sure. Okay. So I play, obviously, somebody who was not raptured. And, I'm still struggling with that because, and I think this is the story for a lot of people.
Yeah.
They just can't get past their own egos.
Mm.
And I will say that I think that that's something that has been seeded into us from the culture and the schools,
Yeah.
is that you are your own being. You're your own created being. You're a self-made man. You're a self-made woman, right?
Mhm.
Um, and the old story about the scientists who go to God, they say, God, we figured out how to create life, so we'd like you to just butt the heck out now, because we got this covered. And
Mm.
God says, okay, I get it. How about we'll do this? You show me um, how you create life, and then if you accomplish that like you say you do, then I will leave you all alone. And so the scientists say, well, sure, okay, so first we take some dirt, and God says, wait a minute, get your own dirt. I love that
That's
story
amazing.
because
It is.
you're not self-made. You did
Right,
not
and it's
form yourself in your
everything.
mother's womb. Like, you did
Right.
not create your DNA. You did not encode your DNA. Like, nothing about you is self-made. So anyway, she's one of those people that has always wrestled. She wanted to believe, but she just could never overcome her ego. And my favorite scene in the movie is, of course, the one I'm in. um, I go to the character who is played by my husband, actually, and we have
Mhm,
kind of a coming to terms. I sort of come clean with him, and I ask him for his help. And it's always fun to play that kind of scene where you just need something from the other person so desperately. And I
mhm,
the reason that it's one of the reasons that it's my favorite scene is because I come to him with this. I'm in crisis.
mhm,
And so I had everything. As an actress, I had everything loaded in. I had the scene played out in my head. I pretty much knew the different beats that I wanted to make sure we hit or whatever. And we did it. Um, the first time was great. The second time, we needed to do it again. You tend to shoot these things multiple times.
mhm.
I think it was the third time. It just went in a completely, not a new direction, but to a deeper, more profound level.
Wow.
And I think it surprised all of us. His reaction surprised me. My reaction to him surprised him. Like, it was a surprising scene. And that meant that there was some discovery,
Mm,
which
mhm,
is exciting. And it's exciting for the audience also. And so, not to get too technical, but that's really, and I think that it it represents really well where a lot of people are today. They might even go to church every weekend, but they're going basically for the social aspect, and
right.
they sit in the pews, and they have maybe just a wonky pastor who doesn't really he's not really a leader.
Mhm,
Maybe he shut down completely during for a year during the or whatever, because he was told that he had to obey government and not God. And he believed the quote unquote authorities, because he allowed the authorities to usurp the role of God. And so if that's somebody who's leading you,
mhm.
they're going to lead you to government. They won't lead you to God because they don't serve God, right? Um, so I think that there's a part of that I think will speak to many people. I hope, anyway. I hope that's the whole reason I do this. So
Yeah, I mean, just kind of a little bit more on that topic. You were just kind of saying one of the aspects that you hope people take away from the film. Is there anything else that you want people to take away? Whether just like it's the importance of just sharing the message of Jesus with their friends and with their family. I mean, anything else like that?
well, that wouldn't be bad either.
Yeah.
Right? I want people to leave inspired. I want them to feel stronger in their faith.
Mm,
To whatever degree they have faith, I want it to be strengthened.
yeah.
That's really the whole point, because the stronger you are in your faith, the more you can stand up to people who challenge any aspect of that faith.
Mhm.
And that includes freedom, right? Because our freedom is authored by the author of our faith. And no other place does freedom find purchase than in Christ.
Right.
So if you believe in freedom, you better worship the guy who invented it,
Mhm.
right? So yeah. So I just and I hope that they enjoy it. We've done a ton of these interviews, and every interviewer who has had a chance to view the screener has been overwhelmingly positive.
Hmm.
That's always nice to hear. You know, it tested well before they finished it, but it's always nice to hear that, you know, now that it's done, it's going out into the theaters. It looks like it's going to do very well. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, we're really excited too, and just to see people using their talents and their giftings to help glorify God's kingdom. So, thank you for everything that you're doing for the glory of God and to spread the message of Jesus and to awaken people to really the reality of which we're living in today. So, thank you for all of your hard work. As we wrap up here, I know that people can get tickets at the leftbehindmovie.com, and it's going to be in around 1,500 theaters. Is that right?
Yes, they s-
Awesome.
they actually raised the number of theaters because it was doing so well. So we're very excited. We're very just really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be kind of like a big party at the theaters
Oh,
because, you know, if you're going to the movie, it's sort of like you're part of a club now. Like
yeah.
you've been what's the word? You've been accepted into the fraternity or whatever, the Left Behind fraternity.
Yeah.
And so actually we started joking about this. We're having a "Don't Be Left Behind" party at the Left Behind screening.
I love it.
So don't get left behind. Go to leftbehindmovie.com.
Amen. That's the important message here, right? So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Sam. Thank you for your time. And for everybody who's watching, we'll also link the interview with Kevin Sorbo down below so you can watch that one as well. And thank you for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe. And Sam, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, darling.